Volatility is back. Today is Tuesday, August 13th, and the stock market is doing well, and Bitcoin has started to show a little bit of bullishness, breaking above the August 12th high, and that is what we are testing right now. This is the 30-minute chart, and just starting off with the lower time frames, since that is sort of the topic of discussion, is the insane volatility that we've been getting over the past couple days. Bitcoin printed a diamond pattern. This is what I was posting on Twitter just yesterday. When Bitcoin's price was still sitting at 59,300, we were discussing on Twitter the diamond pattern breakout. The breakout would be the size of the diamond from high to low, which lands us at about 62,050. So for this short-term idea, the target would be 62,000. So Bitcoin, in theory, is not complete on this run, that this could be just another higher low along a previous resistance as new support before another bounce leading towards 62,000 for this short-term trade setup. Now, stepping back to the 4-hour chart, Bitcoin on the 4-hour since October 4th has now created a series of higher lows. Arguably, the price is beginning to trend off of our low from August 4th, and Bitcoin's resistance line, that is what we are challenging at the moment. So if you pull up that resistance line, take a look. Bitcoin is currently finding a little bit of resistance right there. So if we do break out, that could be the next step before a major push. And an indicator that is supporting the idea of a breakout of this resistance line is the 4-hour MACD, which still needs to close, but the 4-hour MACD has now crossed up. Bitcoin may be looking for a push to the upside in the near term. If you take out your fib extensions from high to low, the first breakout target in theory would be sitting around 65,800. Now, looking at the MACD on the 4-hour once again, the last time that we got a cross up on the 4-hour MACD, the resulting price action was about 10 or 11% to the upside. And also the 4-hour RSI is another key indicator for this range. This resistance has been a bit of a challenge for us, though Bitcoin is attempting to break above it. If we do fully break out of this 4-hour RSI resistance, that could let us tag the 70 level. You'll notice that 70 was the resistance on all of these points right here. And even back here, that is the resistance. So that is a key level to be watching if we do continue up, looking out for that 70 level as the target. And reaching that 70 level could easily bring us up to that first fib target right around 65,800. So the 4-hour RSI is nearing a breakout. The 4-hour MACD is crossing up, and we just discussed multiple targets. And if Bitcoin were to completely fail this range and just break down, which currently I'm bullish, I'm expecting a continued recovery. But if Bitcoin were to fail this zone and break below the trend line, that would be probably giving us an ugly move down towards the 618 fib retrace. And that 618 fib retrace is coming in right around where that previous support came in. And the 618 common retrace zone would be a really good area of value, in my opinion, to be accumulating Bitcoin. That is around 54,200. But I do think that Bitcoin is going to see continued upside, a continued recovery, reaching some of those targets that we just discussed. And the reason why is because the stock market is bouncing right back. The other day, if you remember, on social media, on the news, the world was ending, guys. Remember that? But all of a sudden, the market's right back up, the S&P 500 comes straight back up, and everyone pretends that they weren't bearish at the bottom, just like every other time, right? The S&P went down almost 10% and is now down only 4% from the top. So the S&P has reclaimed more than half of that dip. A lot of people were fooled into thinking that we were going to see a huge continued crash, but this is a solid rebound, and Bitcoin will likely be fueled by this, following to the upside. The orange line is Bitcoin, the candles are the S&P, and Bitcoin is generally trending alongside the global markets. The S&P has been breaking out into new highs for a while Bitcoin has been seeing slightly lower highs. I believe that Bitcoin is overdue for a higher high, meaning a new all-time high. If the S&P continues this rebound, speculators are going to gain a lot of confidence, and I think that's going to push us up to a new all-time high. Bitcoin is currently 20% away from a new all-time high, and we are also about 23% off the bottom. So we're right in the middle of this range. So it's going to be a fight between the bulls and the bears, but as long as the stock market is showing these green candles, these really nice rebounds, Bitcoin is more likely to actually see a recovery, maybe even new all-time highs rather than a dump. It's more likely to go up if the stock market is pointed up. That is historically true. Now, what would the target be for Bitcoin if we did actually see a push up moving alongside the stock market? Well, this is a descending broadening wedge. And according to the textbook, you take the height from high to low of this descending broadening wedge and you extrapolate that. That would be landing us right around 98,000. Now, this sounds absolutely crazy to most people. Most people that don't have any experience in Bitcoin or kind of new, they don't think that these moves are possible. But Bitcoin has been making these types of moves for the entire past year and a half. Up 84% on the first weekly move, up about 92% on the second weekly move, up about 84% on the third weekly move, and from here to there, that is 98%. But things do become more parabolic as we get into new all-time highs. That is historically true. Whenever we break the all-time high, the price action becomes much more extreme, much more volatile towards the upside and the downside. What we've seen since the beginning of 2023 is simply a stair step. Bitcoin has been flipping previous resistance into new support the entire time. Even this dip that we just had was the previous ETF approval / rejection candle. That was the support. This is simply an uptrend, a stair step. There's nothing wrong with what Bitcoin's doing. It's just highly volatile, and that is what Bitcoin is known for. These wicks are showing extreme demand, especially right when we got below 50,000. A lot of the bigger players out there said, gimme that. And then they just bought the market right back up. And here we are sitting above 60,000 today. Now, looking at Bitcoin's monthly chart, if you were looking at this chart and you didn't know what the asset was, you didn't even know it was the Bitcoin chart, you would say, well, this is definitely an uptrend. This is looking bullish. Same for the weekly chart. If you didn't know what this chart was representing, you would just say, well, that's a bullish chart. A lot of people, their bias gets ahead of their thinking. Right? They know that it's the Bitcoin chart, so they put all these ideas on it, what it should be doing or what they think it should be doing or whatever their opinion is. But I encourage you guys to start looking at charts as if you don't even know what it is. It's just a chart, right? The chart should be able to tell you the story. Trade the chart, not your opinion. Bitcoin's daily MACD is nearing a cross up. And Bitcoin's daily RSI, the next major challenge is going to be up here around the 61.5 zone for the RSI. That could be your next resistance point. If we do punch up from here, reaching that point may be where the actual resistance is for the descending broadening wedge. But once we break above that, once we get back above this RSI resistance line, that breakout is going to be most likely what signals the actual breakout into new all-time highs towards your descending broadening wedge breakout target of about 98,000 according to the textbook. So this is what I'm looking for moving forward. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to smash the like button, subscribe to this channel, sign up for Kraken Pro, and I'll see you guys in the next video.